Hello everyone, I'm getting myself started here. Just waiting for some people to show up. I already know there's a little bit of anticipation. I've been getting the... there we go. My first viewer, Ani, welcome. Ali, welcome, welcome. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. I know my sister's already standing by, so we're going to give her a couple more seconds. Hey, Leanie, you finally made it. Glad to see that your computer's working. Hey, Ani. Okay, we're gonna give a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started. Oh, yay! You're good. Okay, all right, perfect. So I'm gonna start today, starting with orange greensicle. This is gonna be a green tea. It's based off of my first design, which was orange creamsicle. That was more based on rooibos teas. This one is based on green teas. So it's going to taste a little bit different than usual. So let me go ahead and start the water going. Since this is a green tea, I'm going to set my tea kettle to approximately 180 degrees because green tea tends to oversteep faster than black teas. So we don't want to keep the water too hot, and we don't want to keep it in too long either. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Hey, Mickey! Welcome, welcome. Alright, forgot to turn off the TV there. So, as usual, I'm going to open up the fresh pack and give you my impressions on it. See what's going on. Okay, so first impressions, I'm a little bit wary about this because the rooibos tea I tend to favor over all the other ones because it's naturally sweet. This one I haven't tasted together. Now, in my past streams, I've tasted things that I've mixed previously and kind of sort of knew what to expect. This one, I have no idea. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, let you know what it smells like. Okay, this is good. It's got a nice creamy scent to it, if that makes sense. It's got like a milky kind of finish. This has got, well, I'm going to go over the ingredients. It's mostly green tea, of course, and you have orange. Let me see. It's got orange, vanilla, orange peels as well, marigold, lemon. Let me pull that down. Strawberry and pineapple. So it's got a lot of fruit in it. I tend to like fruit teas when you mix it with green, because green teas tend to have like a bit of a salty flavor to it. So the fruit's going to balance it out just a little bit. So like I said before, my first impressions of it were very creamy. And of course it has the fruit in it as well. So I'm gonna pour it out a little bit. A little bit more. I like my tea a bit strong. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what the tea looks like. Let me just get some light. Well, hopefully you'll be able to pick it up, Mickey. In the meantime, okay, so you can see right here, it's a pretty chunky tea. It's got a lot of chunks of the white stuff is the pineapple. You see the green tea more profoundly. The marigold is in there as well. This one's got like a really nice green flavor, color to it. So I'm liking the way that it looks so far. Can't really see... Oh, well, I guess you can see the strawberry a bit. It's in there. It's just a little bit hard. I guess it might be the light. Yeah, it's really chunky. I like my teas chunky because that's where it's the juicy flavor that comes out of it. So my water is ready now. I'm going to go ahead and pour it out. And once again, I've pre-sweetened my pot. Just trying to be efficient. There we go. And let the timer begin. Oh, I absolutely will. You can get 2, 3 cups, all the cups you like. All right. There we go. So it's 8:07. So at 8:11, I'm going to take it out because once again, I don't want to keep it in too long. Otherwise, I'll oversteep it, and I'll get this kind of soapy flavor that we want to avoid. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the compression. I don't know. Hopefully, the video will come back. Everybody else see me okay, or is it? I don't know. Just want to make sure that all you guys are able to see. Well, nobody's saying nothing. Oh, okay. So, yeah, all those threats that people say we're gonna wash your mouth out with soap. That's where it comes from. It's really, really badly steeped green tea. Okay. Oh, so you can see. I thought you lost the video. All right. So it's all right. No worries. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the charity that this one is hooked up with. This one is going to 5% goes to the National Mill Dog Rescue. So it helps rescue these dogs that have been brought up in puppy mills and that are used only for breeding purposes and thrown away. Thanks, Allie. They're essentially abandoned a lot of the time, and it's really sad. So it's tragic that these things happen. So any little donation to the National Mill Dog Rescue would be greatly appreciated. I'm sure. So anyway. What is your cell phone isn't making easy, right? Is it making life easy? Well, life just isn't easy, and that's what tea is for. Tea makes life so much better than it normally would be. I know that that's what I testify to my own life. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about the flavoring and what inspired this tea. Now, well, like I said before, my first tea was the orange creamsicle, which was rooibos based, and I really liked the way that it came out. And I figured, why not experiment a little bit? I tasted the 2 teas that are involved is vanilla green and citron green. And vanilla green is exactly what it is. It's a creamy green kind of flavor. The citron green is very citrusy. And I'm not trying to sell it because, I don't get anything out of it. But I'm trying to inspire others to experience it for themselves. Anyway, so I thought it would be a new take on my original tea. So one more minute. I'm keeping an eye out. I wanted to do a different take on it. I tend to expand on my own ideas on occasion. So I thought that having a green version of the rooibos tea would be interesting for those who don't want too sweet of a flavor, because the green tea has like a little bit of a salty, grassy, earthy kind of overtone to it. So, looks like my time is up. So, this is good for that kind of audience and what they prefer. Whoops, I forgot. I always do this. I just forgot my little cup to... Doggone it. Ugh. I would like to go 1 week without dropping something. Just 1 week. That's all I ask. Anyway. Okay. Just going to pull this out a bit. Alright. Thanks! Okay, and I'm going to mix it up. I've got my stevia in there. Get a good mixture going. Yay, thank you. I would bow, but, it's a little bit difficult to do that and stir at the same time. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and smell it. See what it smells like when it's wet. Well, not the drum roll yet. Okay, so what comes out mostly here is the citrus and the green. So you don't get an overly sweet aroma from it. You get the earthiness and the grassiness of the green tea. What kind of cookies? That depends. That depends on the tea. Like, you know how you can pair wine and cheese? I can pair cookies with teas. And for this particular one, I would go with something light and like something with vanilla in it, but more like grandma's cookie tins. You know, like the blue tin with the cookies in the little cups. That kind of flavor I would pair with this because it's a lighter version of what you would have with this. With the green saltiness of the tea. I mentioned that last week. They do make tea cookies. Butter cookies, yes, thank you, butter cookies. I could not, for the life of me, remember what they were called. But yeah, those would go very well with these. As well, I would say something like maybe a gingerbread. That would make an interesting combination because you're going a strong salt with a strong kind of gingerbread flavor. I guess the ginger in it is what keeps it grounded. So that would be an interesting experience. I would definitely test that theory out. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my first cup. Got my usual, yes, very spicy. Got my usual T-Rex teacup, mug, whatever. I don't want to call it a teacup because teacups are not this big. What is it? Cookies are only. Well, that depends on the cookie. I mean, you gotta open your mind a little bit because you can pair donuts with coffee. Okay, so I'm being outvoted here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my first sip. I'll tell you what it comes. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. So I'm gonna take my first sip and tell you what kind of sensations I'm getting, what kind of tastes. Okay, this is good. It's what comes out most is the creaminess. It's not as citrusy as my orange creamsicle. The vanilla is actually stronger than the fruit, which is something I was not expecting. Hey Dave, how's it going? I was not expecting. I was actually. Hey Natanya, what's up? I was expecting the citrus flavor to be more powerful in this case because I've tasted them side by side, but when it's alone, the citron green is a lot stronger than the vanilla green. But in this case, when you mix them together, I'm surprised because the vanilla comes out a lot better than the fruit. So I'm actually interested in trying to figure out why. The way I blended this was a 50-50 shot. So they both had an equal opportunity to come out. I spilled a little bit, so I'm going to fix that there. Let me put this here. I'm going to take another sip and get another impression of it. Okay, I'm getting a very like the vanilla creams the citrus, and it's making it kind of, how do I explain this? Yeah, sure. Take your time, Becky. Um, Demi, what's up? The vanilla comes out very strong, and it kind of gives it like an ice cream flavor to it, if that makes any sense. Um, and you get that little taste of citrus underneath the cream, and I really think that I might just prefer this over the rooibos. I would have to taste them side by side, but from what I remember, hey Albert, what's up? I would have to taste them side by side to see which one I prefer, but I'm surprised isn't what I wanted. The just trying to taste them side by side, or did I want to choose one over the other? Because I mean, I'm really finding that this is surprising. I'm not as big of a green tea fan as I am a rooibos fan. So I was not having as high of an expectation for this. So it's a pleasant surprise that when I sip it and I get the creaminess over the citrus. Well, I kind of wanted to taste it like for it to taste like ice cream, but I didn't expect it to. The orange creamsicle, the rooibos version of that is very sweet, very tangy, but it doesn't have that creaminess to it. And so I didn't expect this one to match more of the flavor that I was trying to get with the first one. Now the first one that I put together, it's top notch. It's it's basically creamy orange juice. But this one is closer to the creamy that I was hoping for. And like I said, when you're working with green tea, you have that salty, greeny, earthy, almost like some green teas have an earthy, like a seaweed kind of flavor. And when I had the yeah, that might be a little bit difficult, and I'll tell you why in a minute. The when you have the green tea, just alone, it has a very strong green flavor. So I would not have expected the vanilla to be as strong in this as it actually is. But mixing them together would be a little bit difficult because we're dealing with two completely different kinds of leaves. We have the short leaf of the rooibos, which can stand in the excuse me, which can stand in the water for countless. It can stay in there. When I make it as an iced tea, I can leave it in there for an hour. But a green tea is very specific. Like you have to take it out soon, or else you'll oversteep it. So mixing them together would be a challenge, basically because of time, because of temperature. I would have to either oversteep one or understeep the other. So that would be an experiment for another time. But I might be interested to see how it would come together. I think that both of them alone are pretty strong and very, they're delicious on their own. But to mix them, yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I think that, well, it would probably be a little bit dangerous to put some cream in it to make it creamier. Only because when you mix cream and citrus, what happens is the dairy curdles, and it's not. Hey Munoz, what's up? The cream will curdle. And that's something. A second, I think I'm still here. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, you don't want to have that curdle look to it. I mean, it doesn't change the taste. It just changes the look of it and doesn't look as appetizing. I've learned that the hard way by putting cream in my blood orange tea, and yeah, it was not pretty. It tasted okay, but Tea curds and whey. Yeah, it's more like keep them tea curds away. Uh, yeah, that was my dad joke for the day. There have been plenty, by the way. I've been making dad jokes a lot today. It's a great stress relief. Anyway, yeah, let me sit up. It's kind of getting uncomfortable leaning over like that. So those of us who have joined us a little bit late, I'm going to go ahead and let you know what is in this tea. This is my orange greensicle. It's going to be with green tea, vanilla, orange peels, marigold flowers, orange flavor, lemon flavor, pineapple, and strawberry pieces. And once again, 5% of the teas. Hey, you made it! 5% of the profits go to the, what was it? The National Mill Dog Rescue. So going by, what was that? My package of tea said great stress reliever. Which one did you get? Did you get one of mine, or did you get something from somebody else? Because if you got something from somebody else, I'm never speaking to you again. Just so you know. No pressure. Just saying. Well, while I'm waiting for that answer, I'm going to keep on going. So yeah, what was I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. You, I believe you got the orange greensicle, right? I mean, sorry, not the greensicle, the creamsicle, my original, and one other, I forget. Oh, you got the orange creamsicle. Did you get another one? Because somebody else placed an order for multiple, and I can't remember offhand what the second one was. What, you mean me to never talk to you again? Because you know that if that's the threat, I will talk to you always, and I will never let you sleep like you slept through my last one. So just so you know. Sweet drinks. Oh yeah, I got plenty. I'll go through my my list a little bit later for specific examples of sweet teas. But yeah, I mean, this one alone is really good. Oh, you got the Citrus Mistress. Okay, yeah, so you're set as far as citrus teas are concerned. Remember, Citrus Mistress is also a green tea, so you don't want to oversteep it. You're going to want to keep the water semi-hot, but not boiling. Like, you'll want to get it when it starts to steam. Once you get it to that, that's about the right temperature. That you leave it in for 3 minutes, you'll be good to go. But the orange creamsicle, the rooibos one, you can leave that in as hot as you want, like forever, and you know you'll get a good flavor out of it. And I completely lost my train of thought before I switched over to coming over here. So I'm going to, as always, open up the floor to you guys if you have any questions. Because I'm going to need a little bit of a break to my throat. That is a tough question. I think because green tea is very iffy when you drink it cold. I would drink the orange citron green cold, but not the orange vanilla. Orange creamsicle, you can have it both ways. That's an easy shot because I have done it both ways and it's amazing. You don't like green teas in any capacity? Well, these are not very strong green tastes. You might like it. Maybe not this one, but if I were to pull out a different one, you might be interested. I'll have to look. As a matter of fact, I have one right here. It's not one of mine. It's a store brand. Well, I mean, from the same people that make it. Yeah, cold tea. It's delicious. Spice green. Spice green is not a very strong green flavor, and it's also chai. So you get a spicy kind of orange to it. Very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, I might use it in one of my future blends. I really like the way it tastes. I just need to think about what it would be like tasting paired up with something else. So I'm going to have to sit down and think about that. I'm sorry if you guys can hear outside. The guys are doing something, I don't know. They're always up to no good down here. But anyway, so yeah, cold tea. I like hot tea, cold tea, and iced tea. So yeah, I don't know. One of the kids are either they're vacuuming or they're like inflating a mattress or something. You mean just in general, or do I drink it fast in order to not savor it? It probably is. It's probably a vacuuming. But anyway, yeah, I tend to. It depends on what I'm doing. I mean, cold tea, yeah, it's a lot easier to drink faster, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I would, just because I want to enjoy the taste. If it's something like, I don't know, I drink my water really fast. I mean, to the point where my eyes turn red, and like they start to tear. People think that I'm crying. Well, no, I'm not crying. I just drank really fast. Oh no, not at all. I mean, this is what we're all here for, to just learn and ask questions and stuff like that. I mean, half the time I don't even know the answer, but you know, I do my best to. Well, I mean, you're probably more used to iced tea being a completely different category, but when you put together these kinds of teas, you have the choice to make it hot or cold, and that's what I really like about it. Like, I've learned some teas make really, really great iced teas, and others are just like, ugh. you know, it's a matter of trial and error. I have one in there in my fridge right now that's kind of on the ugh side. Yeah, basically. But I try to be as close as I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. I have no idea, but I'll look it up and try to get a good understanding. But for these ones, I'm actually once the temperature gets hotter, I'll make a batch of iced tea, and you'll see the difference in the process. I'm debating because when I normally steep an herbal iced tea, I leave it in there for an hour, and that'll keep a lot of the beginning of my stream, just talking in general before the taste. Oh, excuse me. However, I do have one. It's a Thai chai. Actually, I do know the origin of it, but there's no solid. It's more of a legend than a hey Lisa, how's it going? It's more of a legend than an actual story. The story starts in China. There was an emperor who fell asleep under a tree while he was drinking his water. And while he was sleeping, the wind was blowing through the leaves, and some of it fell off the tree and into his cup. So when he wakes up, he's thirsty. He looks at his cup and says, you know, I don't want to get a brand new cup of water. He just pulls out the leaves. Legendary tea. There you go. So he pulls out the leaves, and he drinks it, and he finds out that it leaves a nice flavor to it. So he begins to cultivate the leaves, and thereby beginning the whole tea culture. So that's the legend of it. I don't know how much of it is true. Have a good night, Teresa. See you tomorrow. Um, I couldn't tell you how much of that is true. All I know is that a huge amount of tea comes from India, so yeah, it leaves a nice flavor. But no, like a whole a ton of tea comes from India, so I don't quite know how much of it goes between the two countries. Yes, yes, thanks, Ma. That's a great point. It gets you a lot of water without any of the preservatives or additives that that sodas give you, and even sports drinks leaves out the sugar. These teas, depending on which one you use, really don't need sweetening at all. Like this one, I pre-sweetened. I tend to sweeten it just a little bit, but I honestly don't think that it would need much sweetening, if any at all, because it's got a nice flavor to it. Ali, you might want to put a little bit of sugar in it to take away from the green flavor, but other than that, it's really good. Hey, Aaron, you made it, and you caught me mid sip. Anyway, so like I was saying, I was what I was debating before was if I'm gonna make the iced tea, if I use the herbal blend, which tea would give you the most energy? I'm going to answer that in just a minute. I have two really good answers. But I have like I said, the herbal blend would take about an hour, but I have Thai chai, which I'm gonna be making pretty soon. I use this in a couple of my in my teas. No, don't be sorry. I'm just letting you know I'm gonna go back to it. Thai chai is excellent. It's almost like a creamy vanilla, coconutty, really really sweet blend, and it quickly became one of my favorites. Like I had no idea how addicted I would be. I actually used it in my sweet Thai chai princess before I knew what it tasted like, and after that I was like, yeah, this princess tea is going to be amazing, and I have not regretted it. I have since purchased it, and I tasted it, and not only me, but like a bunch of people at work got instantly addicted. So, I might make the iced tea out of that. Since it's technically a black tea, it doesn't have to steep as long. Um, I'll do a little bit of research before I make the iced tea, because I don't want to ruin it. But I'll either use that for a short steep or an herbal blend for long steep, and I'll talk about the process of making the iced tea. Now, for your question, Mickey, about the energy, I would have two types of teas. Number one is matcha. Matcha is amazing. It's got tons of health benefits, and it's got a nice kick for your caffeine. It's really great. It's like the caffeine level is kind of around a Starbucks cup of coffee. Now, if you want a more now matcha is a heavy green tea, so you're going to want to acclimate yourself to it first. I got used to it by drinking other green teas to work my way up. I had no idea what matcha was, but by the time I had tasted it, I had enough green teas to know what to expect. The other one is mate, spelled like mate. Matcha. Yeah, that's the lawn stuff. The mate, spelled mate, is really, really high in caffeine, but it doesn't give you, if you buy the right one, it doesn't give you the same crash as a regular cup of coffee would. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna move a little bit to the end because it's kind of getting loud. But yeah, I would definitely recommend the mate. Now mate, I'll have to. Yeah, that's exactly how it's spelled. The mate. If I'm going to do a mate tea stream, I'm going to have to buy the kit because I want to go authentic on it. Because if I ever do, I'm probably going to do a matcha in the future as well. I still have to do a little bit of research on the ceremony, but when I get around to it, I think it'll make for an interesting stream because it's more of a cultural thing. Now, Jazzy, I didn't forget you. I wasn't ignoring you. Sorry, it took a little while to answer that. But for headaches, I would suggest something with two characteristics: one with a high content of caffeine, and two, something with a lot of fragrance. Fragrance, they have a very natural effect to the human body. It relaxes you. It calms you down. It puts you in a calmer state of mind. So when you're smelling it, it calms you down. But then caffeine helps your heart rate move. And what it does is once your blood is pumping, it flows easier through. Yeah, that's why that's why I moved to the other side of the room. I'm trying to avoid some of that. But when it gets your blood flowing, it basically stops the aching, depending on the headache. If it's one of those throbbing headaches, I would tend to avoid too much caffeine and go more for the fragrant. But for the most part, yeah, something that's heavy in caffeine and fragrant would go wonders. Oh, my throat's getting sore. Anyway, I'm gonna put that down for a bit. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the mate. Now, this was something that I had learned. What was it? Do you mind? I'm doing my stream. Yeah, exactly. Any suggestions specifically for headaches? I would go with an Earl Grey lavender, but I recommend that very gently because Earl Grey is it's an acquired taste. I don't particularly like Earl Grey a whole lot. I'm still working on a tolerance for it. I found one, Earl Grey Bravo, which is it's more of a citrusy Earl Grey, and when you put cream in it, it makes things so much easier. I need to worry about that. As far as other fragrant teas, something with mint, but I would have that mint mixed with something with caffeine in it because peppermint tea has no caffeine in it whatsoever. So, off the top of my head, maybe even the Thai chai. It's got a more of a vanilla fragrance to it. So, if you like a vanilla scent, I would recommend that. Something with flowers, I would say, the Earl Grey lavender that's very, very fragrant, but again, it's Earl Grey, so I would suggest getting used to an Earl Grey taste in general first before starting to drink it specifically for headaches. Because if not, if you're drinking something that you don't like, you'll get an even bigger headache. What else? Something that I'm not fond of chai. Well, that I mean. Yeah, I personally love chai tea, only because, I mean, I have a taste for spice. soapy finish by nature. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. The trick is to make it hot, then let it sit so that it cools off, and then when you drink it later, you get more of a vanilla overtone, which it helps a bit, but not by much. I mean, most of the time, people either love Earl Grey or hate it. So it's going to be a toss-up. But when you ask for a headache tea, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm trying to think of something that's more general. Oh, and also Thai chai. I forgot to mention it's very mild, so you don't really have to worry about about that burn that chai normally has. It's very mild, so I would definitely. Okay, have a good night. I'll talk to you later. We'll catch up. So what was it? Oh yeah, that it's very mild. So I would still recommend the Thai chai to you, but take it with a grain of salt because I don't know what your tolerance is for chai. I would recommend, as a matter of fact, because they do have chocolate teas as well. If you can find the right blend, then by all means go for it. I love chocolate tea, but I always wind up recommending the chocolate chai because it tastes more. It tastes more of the cocoa, in my opinion. Anyway, if they were to make the chocolate chai without the chai, then I say go for it. As a matter of fact, I'll look and see if there's anything that would come close to it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sit back in my spot because I think that they're finished vacuuming now. So, anybody else have any other questions? Just going to throw that out there. No problem. And as a matter of fact, if you want to talk tea after the casting or the streaming, I'll be happy to talk to you and get some of these recommendations because I know that teas can go a long way. So I'll talk to you about that after the stream. Anybody else? Sorry, it's like a little bit difficult to concentrate with that noise on this end, but I'm giving it my best shot. Anybody? Well, I'm going to, while you guys think of it, I'm going to pour out the rest of the tea, which should still be hot. That's the one thing I love about this teapot, like it keeps your tea hot for a long time. Okay, well, it looks like I've run out of material, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. And once again, this is the orange greensicle. I'm going to, well, they have teapots on the side as well, so if you're going to order the tea, might as well put a pot in it at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and put the web address onto there. Have a good night. I'm going to put a web address on there, and as always, if you want my full list of blends, go ahead and just comment in the comment section, and I'll be happy to send it to you. Just let me know what your email is. Just inbox me, chat me, whatever, however you can get to me, let me know. Okay? So have a good night, everybody.